Hello, everybody. Hello, it is very, very good to be back. This is just a video I want to make to formally announce that my EP is finally finished. Man, I don't really like looking at my face when I'm doing this. I wonder if there's a way I can kind of not do that or do it in such a way that doesn't look so intrusive. Anyway, yeah, I just want to let everybody know that it's finally good to go. It's finally good. It's finally good. It's finally happened and it's literally finally here. So, if you don't know about it already, I essentially want to start working a on something that people could hold on to, something that people could actually grab onto, something that people could actually want to at least digitally hold inside of their hands that they could actually listen to. That was very, very complete. Before I officially start working on putting out my official album, that's been just like the EP has been kind of taking also as has also been kind of taking a little bit of time as well too. But it's finally here. It's finally here. So in the description of this video, basically you can go to www.creepycolin.com and it's going to take you right there on the splash on the homepage right there on the splash. You're going to be able to see the link to the actual download so you can actually sign up with an email address. That's all I need. It's totally 100% free. All I need is an email address. All I want is an email address from you, and then you basically get what's essentially 5 days of music. 5 days of my genre, of course, which is dark romantic folk musical comedy. And this is pretty much all of my best stuff. I think the reason why I set up every single song to be the way that it is because it gives you, like, the most so essentially what this album does, like this EP does, is gives you the most, like, complete idea of, like, all of my music and what it's all about kind of thing. As, as I get going and start putting out more singles and stuff like that, it just gives you a pretty much a complete idea of what I'm all about. I think maybe there might have been a chance that I just swap in maybe one or maybe like one song could have been replaced with another, but I thought like it just gave out the ones that I picked give the most variety in terms of what I kind of am capable of just as a singer-songwriter, so to speak. Um, and I also just wanted to talk a little bit more about like the process and like what I did actually to actually get this thing, what I had to do with some friends in order to actually get it all done. Um, so essentially my friend, the super, super talented, Nick Howell was the one who, um, I guess you could say, like, I wanna say, like, produced, like, of course, like, helped produce the whole thing or was essentially a producer, and, like, he was the audio engineer and he, like, behind, like, the original mixes, and we got together in like this I won't say where it is obviously, but like he got together in this old like fishing shop that like his grandpa owned, I think, or something like that. And that is what essentially became the studio for the whole project. Like I knew I wanted to go out and record something somewhere interesting. I know if I felt comfortable, immediately going back into like a full on like, traditional studio. It just seemed like a really fun idea to do it, right? I mean, I didn't spend, like, a whole heck of a lot of time actually, looking back on I probably could have maybe spent a bit more time actually rehearsing everything, even though it's just, like, it's very, very, like every single, like, recording is essentially just kind of like a really, really, raw and, like, rough, just straight, vocals and guitar kind of recording. And I probably could have spent a little bit more time rehearsing, but it's just like it gets to a point where it's just like I'm playing songs over and over again that I know I played like 840,000 billion times over the course of the years. And it kind of gets to a point where like I'm not going to be able to kind of do anything other than what I can kind of put into it, I guess you could say. Um and so, yeah, we just kind of got everything together. I can't remember how long it took. Must have taken, like, what, like, 3 took, like, a few like, I rehearsed for at least. I think I rehearsed for about, like, a good, like, month and a bit, all the songs, maybe even longer than that. This is in 2023 when we actually got everything together. So that's why another reason why I'm glad it's done because it's been, like, essentially, like, the process has been, like, a year in the making. And, yeah, like, I mean, we really just kinda got it done. And So, like, he sent me the tracks. I got it done by this really super cool and talented guy on I'm gonna try to I gotta get everybody I actually gotta get everybody's names and stuff like that, right? Because something I forgot to do on the email list that I have is I forgot to credit everybody who really made it happen because it was, of course, Nick and this super cool Brazilian guy that I met on Fiverr. I mean, I'll be able to kind of maybe plug, I'll in like shortly after putting out this video, I'll be able to plug everybody's names and their stuff inside of the description of the video as well too. And so yeah, that's basic the process. Like I rehearsed, we recorded all the songs, and then I sent them off to this guy on Fiverr. He did like all the mixing and mastering for everything. And yeah, and like it's one of those things where it's just obviously like I'm paying some of these people for studio time and like, audio engineering expertise. But everybody I've shown it to thinks it sounds really good so far. So yeah. Um but that's pretty much essentially it. I just thought I would let you, everybody who's a part of the YouTube audience that I currently have right now, um, that you now have something in terms of like, I know I put out a single a while back, right? I do want to progressively put out some more singles, um, as like, I get really kind of in like, album promotion mode over the course of these next few months, and I get closer to actually putting out an official date for the album as well too. I know I put it off for a while, but, I think I keep progressively putting it off until, like, a point where it gets to, like, I really wanna put it out maybe in, like, the springtime kinda thing, maybe the summer. Every year I think about wanting to put it out there, but, so that's probably gonna be the same thing again with, like, the actual album is probably gonna be, like, spring or summer or something like that. But until then, like, if you are a new person who's here and, like, maybe, like, you've heard some of my songs that I've kind of been playing and putting out there, Bo Burnham, kinda like, kicking it Bo Burnham style, I guess. I now have something that you can officially really hold on to that's very robust and very, very cool. Um, so, like, another thing with that is every single one of basically, like, when you actually sign up for the actual list, right? What you'll be getting is, 1 new song per day from this, free to download EP. So it's pretty much it's 5 songs in total, right? And I just have, like, extra behind the scenes like, a little bit of, like, a behind the scenes look into, like, some of the stuff that I do as well. So, like, a big part of, like, being on the email list is that you're gonna be able to get those sort of things, right? You're gonna be getting, like, all the stuff that I kind of, like, talk about and I work on behind the scenes. I don't necessarily kind of, like, put out there as much to, like, the general public. Um, so pretty much every single one of them has, like, at least a little bit of a story as to, like, what the song's sort of deal is and why I like it so much and why I picked it, why I think it's a good song as well too. And just, like, I do, like, I talk a little bit about, like, what was the inspiration behind it as well too. They're not, like, completely and utterly these emails, like, they're not, like, completely and utterly bloated or something like that, or completely unattractive or off-putting that someone would want to immediately click away. They genuinely are there for, like, people who are oh, oh, if somebody walked in just now. I don't live alone, so I have to kinda be ready if somebody walks in or something, but no, I think I'm fine. Anyhow, um but yeah, like, it's just, like, a really cool thing I want to get everybody, before putting out the first album, in order to kind of also build, like a little bit of hype for that as well too. You get a really, really good quality idea as to what my music really kind of is and what it really kinda sounds like before people want to make that purchase. So yeah, I think that, that's just pretty much what I want to talk about. Free to download EP, all it costs is an email address. You get 5 free, super cool, and, hopefully you find them hilarious or at least decent songs. And now it was also became one of those things where, throughout that process of me, like, recording this whole thing, I was working on another bit. I was pretty much working on another business. The reason why I have this microphone here is because I bought it because for the past, good lord, like 5 years, I've been recording voiceovers. Um, Started out pretty much as like a side hustle, then became my business full time for about a year. I kind of screwed up on a bunch of different things looking back on it now for how I wanted to handle my business and do my business, etc. And so I'm no longer working on voiceover in anywhere even close to like a full-time capacity. And I'm going to leverage the time that I now have in order to be working on the bread and butter of what my original, creative, like, flair was for, and that is doing musical comedy. Like, I'm 32 now, I've been writing some of these musical comedy songs, like, on and off, even before I knew, who Flight of the Conchords was, for instance, before I even found out what, like, the genre of musical comedy even was, I've been writing songs like I've been writing since, like, 14 years old or something like that, you know what I mean? On and off, right? And so now I'm just gonna probably this is probably gonna be, like, where I put most of my creative efforts back into now that I'm not, like, trying to do voiceover, doing too many things wrong, stressing about whether or not I'm gonna be able to even, like, eat for, like, you know, like, for, like, a month or pay bills, for a month because that was kinda, like, a part of, like, my worry in 20 and over the course of certain parts of 2023 kinda thing. And, so, yeah, now that I'm kind of not out of that, like, now I can actually devote more time, and to be honest with you, even though I'm not necessarily, like, that great at it, doing something like one of these sort of, like, off the cuff kind of live streams, I think in addition to doing some more, like, shorts and stuff like that for, playing some new original music and just, like, maybe even, like, some covers and stuff like that that I think are really cool and that I like. Something that I wouldn't mind actually doing in the near future for in terms of being, like, a content creator, because that's what you're called now, for creating content. I'm probably gonna be putting out, like, more things like, probably gonna be doing more of these kind of live streams where I just kind of, like, meet up and, like, talk to people and just, like, just kind of talk about whatever bullshit is kind of, like, going on, like, in life or whatever kind of thing I kind of might have, like, an opinion on or something like that and blah, blah, blah. Like, for instance, like, like, I mean, like, just in, like, in terms of art and media and relationships maybe as well too and stuff like that, just whatever's kind of just like, like, whatever's just kind of, like, on my mind, whatever's kinda going on with my life and whatever else kinda thing, you know what I mean? Because, yeah, it's not just about, like yeah, it's something I was learning in music marketing. It's not just about, like, the kind of stuff that you're doing. It's not just all about you and the guitar. You know what I mean? It's about who you are also, like, as a person that people want to engage with and look at and give a shit about kind of thing as well too, right? And, like, yeah, that's I guess what I'm saying is that even though I'm not necessarily that great at doing, like, live and, like, super well organized thoughts into, like, a live stream or, like, off the cuff kind of setting, I actually really do kind of enjoy it. I realized this because I was doing, like, a live yesterday on Facebook just for fun, just to kinda pop in and check on things, right? Because I haven't really posted anything on social media since, like because I was getting so busy trying to, yeah. Another thing that I was also doing is, like, moving over the email list that's associated with the new download with the new EP. Um, uh, you know what? I haven't even talked you know what I haven't even talked about yet? Jesus fucking Christ. That's why I'm so bad at this. I haven't even talked about the title or, like, why I came up with it or what have you. Jeez Jesus fuck I am really, really bad at this. Holy fucking shit. And, like, yeah, I was just so busy working on other stuff. But, uh, but yeah, like, this is the kind of stuff I wanna do a little bit more often. If I could, like, yeah, backtrack by about 8 minutes then. If I could backtrack by, like, a few minutes, I guess I'm going to maybe, like, I guess I could probably talk a little bit more about what happened with the album as well too. Another thing I forgot about it, is that the EP itself is called Waiting Room. I think it was originally supposed to be called The Waiting Room, but, I don't know what happened. I'm not trying to clown on them or anything like that, right? But, in addition to, of course, like, my musician slash audio engineering friend, Nick Howell, who basically helped me record the album, the guy on Fiverr, who I will get the name to you in the description of the video, um, my friend Dave Willox, who did the album cover, he, I can't remember what happened if I specified to him or said something else. I'm pretty sure I mentioned I want it to be called The Waiting Room, but in terms of, like, how he wanted to organize everything with his sort of brilliant artistic genius, which is what he is, and that's what I genuinely think of all of his art, he, like, kind of, like, made it, the title of the album on the cover just Waiting Room. And so because of that, when he gave me, like, the final draft of the whole thing, I'm just like, "Okay, oh, well, I guess I'll just call it Waiting Room then." You know what I mean? And, so that was just one of those, like, really funny, kind of happy little accidents. And another source of inspiration because a big inspiration for a lot of the stuff that I do really is inspired by, like, specifically, like, friends. Like, for instance, one of the songs that you do get, Day Number 2 is about my buddy Dan. Dan's a very good friend of mine who I met online years ago, and so I really wanted to write a song for him. My good friend, I guess I won't yeah, my buddy Goran, right? He was the one who came up with the original idea for the whole album, right? Because I was riffing with this, like, I was trying to come up with the concept of, like, okay, like, I basically came up with, like, sort of like a rough concept. I'm just like, I don't really know, I probably have to load up the specific Discord messages because I forgot them all now, right? So I'm just like, "You know what, man, what can I do for, like, this album? What can I make it of?" And he's like, "Okay, so you have this person, this character, and it's all, like, featuring your characters, Colin. So why don't you just let me see if I can't find what he originally said, but, like, why don't you basically make it like they're all sort of, like, in, like, I'm gonna look it up right now because I can't remember what he said. It's just like, I just basically said, like, after he said it, let me see. I'm not gonna dox him or anything like that, you know what I mean? I just wanna find the original of what we were talking about. Uh, oh, yeah, I basically said to him, "I need some ideas for my EP album cover and title." And, like, what kind of he's like, "What kinds of" "Well, I'll send you the song." "Okay. You do a song about this, a song about that, song about this, and then something about this." So the art can be he basically came up with the title of the whole thing, and then he also came up with the general design. And so the way that he kind of came up with it, so it basically was like a doctor's waiting room, and that allowed me to leverage, um my character from, that allowed me to leverage the character of, Doctor Collins as well too, because he's of course he's gonna be featured on the debut album, and so I thought it'd be great to have him as a precursor, as the the main character for the precursor of this EP. And so, yeah, so, like, a lot of people really kind of came in to make this whole thing work, and And, uh, and yeah, the outcome was really, really something very, very, very special. So, and after this all kind of went down, getting everything done, like starting out last year, and then not really even thinking about how I want to do it. And then changing up I did a bunch of changes to like my website, as I was saying, with like my mailing list and blah, blah, blah. Like the past like couple of months were like some of like the core of like how much work went into getting everything ready in terms of, I think I still need to change a couple things, but like of getting everything ready with like my website, the list, and like the artwork and blah blah blah. Um, like I'm not just at the point of now, like just to get back to what I was saying about like doing more live streams and stuff like that, because it's just like I'm just like, holy shit, like what do I even do now? You know what I mean? I guess for most people, you probably think like, okay, like you probably got to go out and do some shows and stuff like that. And it's just like I agree. You know what I mean? I agree. I do agree. I need to go out and play more shows and stuff like that because having that like live music feel and that live music energy, um, is so important and so, like, conducive to, like, what I do. It's definitely something I need to do a lot more often. Um, taking a sip of the juice. Fucking wires everywhere back here. Okay. But it's like, man, I don't even know, like, have it's like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, but I guess in any case, like, it's just like, I mean, but the sa okay, but, like, the thing is, like, yeah, I don't necessarily do, like, an act I haven't, like, necessarily been as active as much as I possibly could have with some of the things I originally wanted to do, like, more skit comedy and just, like, posting more songs, being active on social media in general. But, like, and this is something I've kind of referred to when I was, yeah, talking about my other live stream that I did on Facebook yesterday, and that is, like, my reasoning basically is I don't like trying to like build up a kind of like brain for myself or being like, putting out a bunch of whatever on social media unless I can actually give people something that they can like literally or at least basically literally hold on to. And that is like essentially like It's like, "Man, my neck is all fucked up." And that is like and that is like essentially, um and this EP is essentially what I wanted to give people before I started doing that. I really just don't like putting shit out there unless you can actually have something tangible to actually, like, hold on to. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm so glad this is finally done as well too, because everything's working properly. It's there, you can have it, and it costs you literally nothing. I don't think I'm gonna do the same thing with the album, you know what I mean? 10 songs, I spent hundreds of spent years of my life working on, technically speaking, hours working on, and just like, putting together. I'll have to charge something for the album, right? But, yeah, now you have something, and now I have more of a purpose to actually be putting whatever out on social media. It's probably gonna start out more like, the style of these live streams while I'll be like here sitting in my home studio, or I'm going to be just like, chilling on my phone, on my bed or something like that, just like bullshitting, talking about whatever. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much now, but now it is pretty much go time in terms of, like, trying to put things out there, trying to really kinda get back into trying to build a following this stuff, um, and, uh, and just, like, having some fun and introducing people into my world, to be introducing people into my universe, and I sincerely hope that people will enjoy their time here, and, the EP will act as a really, really great gateway in order to draw people inwards. Okay, well, I think that's pretty much gonna be it for today. It's a long weekend out here in my neck of the woods, and, I have quite a few other plans that I'm gonna probably pursue for today and tomorrow, and, I will be in touch. I will get back to you all soon. Take care, everybody.